Welcome back to the channel. It's Sam Dema, and in this video you will learn about coronavirus and relationships. Maybe you're a student that's in a relationship, then this video is definitely for you. Maybe you're a student who's not in a relationship but one day plans to be in one, then this video is definitely for you. I'm sure you've noticed that all throughout the world right now, whether you watch the news, go on your Instagram feed, your Twitter feed, or on TikTok, you're seeing thousands of things being posted about marriages falling apart, about divorces, about breakups in high school or university relationships. And it is true. In today's situation with the coronavirus all around the world, people are being forced to confront their problems within their marriages or relationships, or being forced to be totally isolated from one another, which is causing a lot of emotional problems. Now, this is something that's happening not only for students but for all people. But I know you're probably a student watching this, more so than anyone else, so I'm going to be talking directly to you. When I was growing up throughout high school, I didn't get into many serious relationships. It wasn't until I was 20 years old when I got my first serious girlfriend, and she's going to be my only one. Shout out to Nikki. And I thought it's so cool because with her permission, I'm going to share with you something that we've created, co-created, that has helped our relationship be completely honest, transparent, and very strong over the past couple of months. So much so that when coronavirus came around, we weren't really struggling about if we were going to break up or all these crazy things that are happening. No, we were more just a little bit sad that we couldn't see each other for a long period of time. It wasn't fights and arguments, it was empathy and love being expressed through our text messages and our FaceTimes and our video calls every single day. And so the base of our relationship and the base of your relationship should be values, should be standards. That is the foundation upon which you build everything else. And so I'm lucky enough that Nikki is going to allow me to share a little bit of this. We essentially, when we started our relationship, we made a list on the Notes app on an iPhone. And we created a list of all the things that we thought were very important if this relationship was going to thrive, survive, and last for our entire lives. And every single month or week, we add things to it. We talk about things on the phone, and we continuously review it every once in a while. Don't get me wrong, it's not like we pull out our phone before every conversation and read out a list of rules, but it's something that we strive towards within our partnership, and I think it'll be very helpful to you as well. Especially if you're in one right now, during this time, you can set this up in your relationship, or if you're going to get into one in the future, you can come to the table with this list of standards and impress your partner, impress the other person, and get off on the right first step. So I'm going to grab my phone real quick, and I'm going to rapid fire go through these because there's about, I think, 18 now. And if I was to explain every single one in depth, it would take a good 40 minutes, and I don't want to waste that much of your time. So here we go. The titles of this document is called our vows and commitments. I thought that was kind of cute. The first thing we wrote down was leave the past in the past. I'm sure you know that a lot of people in your life have very different experiences. They come from very different places. They have very different life journeys and stories. And when you get into a relationship, the first thing that a lot of people do is ask the other partner about their past. And that's something that me and Nikki did as well. Now, we've both had very different experiences in the past with our life, with relationships. And so you want to ask that question to understand your partner, not to criticize and condemn them. Because they can't change the past. They can't adjust the past. They are not their past. That is just what happened, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. All that matters is right now. If you want to use the past to your advantage, you can ask your partner about it to understand where they come from so that you could better understand them today. But we vowed to leave the past in the past so it wouldn't cause problems in the present or the future. The second thing was to be mindful of our words. And this is very important for us because once in a while when you're talking to a significant other, you might stumble or say something you didn't mean to say. But what's even more important than what you say is how you say it. The tone of voice, the intention behind the words. And so we realized that words are extremely impactful, so we wrote this down to always remind us it's okay sometimes to say, wait, I need 2 minutes to think about this before I say it to you, because you want to be very thoughtful about what you say to your partner or significant other. The third thing we wrote down was don't interrupt each other. And the reason we wrote this down is because typically when you interrupt someone who's talking, the only reason you do it is because you think you have something more important to say. You interrupt them because you're not listening to understand, you're listening so you can respond. It's two very different things. And I always catch myself, and if you're anything like me, you probably catch yourself in every conversation you have saying, sorry, keep going, because you always interrupt people. It's just a bad habit I have, and I think that's more so the reason why we wrote it down. The fourth thing we wrote down was be in the present moment. And then we put in brackets, minimize our phone usage when we're with each other. This is extremely, extremely important. I think in a relationship, you might have limited time where you can see your partner, especially in a situation like coronavirus. So why not take advantage of every time you get to see them? Put your phone away. Put your computer away. Take your work hat off. Put it down. Take your student hat off. Put it down. Be present in the moment for maybe even an hour, 2 hours, if you only have a little bit of time. And then when you leave the situation, put your work hat back on, put your student hat back on, and get back to work. But when you have that time with that significant other person, make them feel valued. Make them feel special. And you have the power to do that just by being present. The next thing we wrote down was honesty and authenticity even when it's difficult. Sometimes people hold back the truth. Maybe you've done this. I know I have too. Sometimes you hold back the truth that you want to tell somebody else, your honest opinion that you want to share with them, but you don't tell them because you think it'll hurt their feelings. It's not a good thing to do. And the reason why it's not a good thing to do is because you're giving the other person an idea of who you are that's not really true. It's not really authentic. And what will end up happening is a year down the line, 2 years down the line, you're going to say, you know what, this is actually what I thought about this situation, but I didn't tell you in the present moment because I thought it would ruin something or cause a problem. So as hard as it is for us to express our honest, true feelings, we always do it, and I encourage you to do the same. The next thing, number 6, was make time for each other. This sounds very basic, but literally I plan my week out every Sunday, and I'll do a video about that because I haven't done one on the channel yet. But every Sunday I block out times in my calendar for Nikki. We call every single night. We put an effort towards, spending time together. You put an effort towards finishing your homework. You put an effort towards sports. You put an effort towards playing video games. Why not put an effort towards spending time with your significant other? It's very important and it's very easy to do. The 7th thing we said was fully accept each other. And this is self-explanatory. You have to fully accept the other person. Their past, their present, their future, who they're becoming. You have to fully accept it. But not only accept it, you can also challenge it. Because a person's actions are not who they are, it's just the things they do. Accept the things they do, accept who they are, and challenge them. It's a very healthy relationship. Nikki challenges me, I challenge her all the time. I hope you do the same in your relationship. The 8th standard was privacy. Our private space is our private space. Now, this is a very simple one, but in today's day and age, so many people don't do this. When you have a problem with your significant other, instead of posting it on Twitter like a subtweet, just call them on the phone and talk about it with them. Our problems are our problems. They're nobody else's. So our space is our space. It's nobody else's business. This is a very important one because sometimes couples will embarrass their significant other in public. And it makes the other person feel like crap. Like, you don't want to do that to the person that you love and care about and want to marry one day. So keep your private space or your private issues in your own private space. The next thing we wrote down was pinky promises are sacred. We just have a joke. Whenever we make a promise, we do a little 3-step pinky promise. I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm not that corny or sappy on my YouTube channel. Anyways, the 10th thing was every call ends in a mutual understanding of feelings and no one goes to bed confused. This one is extremely important for me because I'm sure there's been times in your relationship where you hang up and you're both mad and no one knows how the other person feels and you go to bed feeling like crap. You probably don't even sleep. You wake up the next morning feeling like crap. You call the other person, they're upset. It takes you 2, 3, 4 days before you can feel okay about the conversation you had. Whereas, instead, you can, explain to the other person how you're feeling before going to sleep, saying you need some more time to think about it, but you're not extremely upset or extremely angry, and both go to sleep with a mutual understanding about where the other person stands. Whether they're really upset with you right now and they need space. Okay, at least you know. Whether they're trying to work through it and they just need a day by themselves. Okay, at least you know. But you don't want to go to bed just, bye, fine, hang up the phone and have no idea. And the second reason why this is very important is because you never know when something might happen to the person you love. And I'm sure you want the chance to express yourself wholeheartedly, authentically, even if it was the last time you ever got to talk to that person. The next thing we wrote down, this is probably one of the most important standards, is discussions, not arguments. It's always us versus the problem. Now, this is a very, very important concept. In many relationships, when people get into disagreements, it doesn't become a disagreement about the belief or opinion. It becomes a disagreement that's personal. It's like it's you versus your partner. You guys are arguing against each other instead of it being you and your partner versus the problem. Because the positive way to look at it is that you both are two individual people with a different opinion, and this different opinion is causing you a problem. The problem is the thing that is standing in between you and your significant other. So it should be you two trying to address this problem together to get it out of the way. But in most case scenarios, when people get upset and angry and argue, they take the problem personally. Like the problem is the other person. Not that there's actually a problem that they both need to solve together. And so rephrasing our arguments into discussions has helped us solve so many little minor things, little minor issues, a lot quicker, a lot smoother, and with a lot more love. And I encourage you to use that mentality in your relationship. The next one is how can I love you better? Monthly phone calls. So once a month, we haven't had our first one yet, but me and Nikki decided this about a week ago. We would have a call just explaining, how we've been loved over the past month and how we could love each other even better. This is very simple, but it's like any other area of your life. If you want to improve something in your life, you should ask yourself, what have I done in the past, and what can I do differently in the future to just take it 1% better in the next month, or 1% better in the next year. And it's really helpful. We haven't done it yet, but we're definitely going to hop on it. The next one is no comparisons about people, experiences, examples. The mindset behind this one is very simple. Every person is different. Every person has a different life story and experiences. There is no need to compare Nikki to someone else. There's no need for her to compare me to somebody else. There's no need to compare, your significant other to somebody else in your life. Everyone's different. Don't make comparisons. Accept all the differences of other people. The next thing was no unnecessary apologies. When you really love another person, you're very quick to say, I'm sorry, but most of the time, the I'm sorries aren't necessary. Don't apologize for who you are. Explain your perspectives, make sure they're respected, and then come to a mutual compromise, but no unnecessary apologies. The 15th standard was no assumptions. This is a very deadly one because almost everyone I know, including myself, makes assumptions about our partner or significant other's behavior. If you're in a relationship right now, I'm sure this has happened to you. You've assumed that something they did meant something, and you didn't talk to them about it, and it went through your head for like 4 or 5 days until it was just blowing up inside, and then you grabbed your phone and called that person and explained to them how you felt, and they were like, no, that's not what I meant at all. So we made a rule that we would not make assumptions, and if we ever make an assumption, we address it on the spot. If an assumption pops in my head, I'm not waiting more than 5 minutes to tell Nikki about it so she can reassure me what I'm saying is not true, or I can reassure her what she's saying is not true, it's just made up. It's the same thing in your relationship. The 16th thing was no judgment. This is very simple. Don't judge the other person. Don't judge anybody. There's a reason behind everything that happens in a person's life. No judgment is needed, just understanding. The 17th thing is always strive to incorporate romance. This was created a lot more recently, and it says in the long term. Because we were watching a video together by this guy named Elliot Halse, and he was talking about 21 reasons why his marriage has been so strong, and he's been with the same girl since he was about, 16 years old. And one thing he said was that every week they go on a date night. And they have a scheduled day, a scheduled time. They dress up, go out, come home, watch a movie. And so my girlfriend Nikki thought that was really cute. I did too. So we thought, why don't we implement this in our own life? Something for you to consider as well. The last thing is consistent communication. Always staying in touch. There's something so special about the amount of time you spend talking with another person. And not even the amount of time, but it's the small little pockets of your day where you can call them for 2 minutes and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I love you. I hope you're doing okay. I'll talk to you tonight, or I'll talk to you soon. It's just these little tiny moments of constantly being in touch, constantly communicating that can also create this very safe space and this very beautiful relationship with your partner. So those are the 18 things that we have written down right now in terms of standards for our current relationship. We continue to build off these every single day. This has helped us remain super transparent, super understanding, and super loving of one another. And so if you're in a relationship right now as a student, think about incorporating these, having a conversation with your significant other, and just bringing it up, saying, hey, why don't we try some of these things? Or if you're not in a relationship, but you're going to get into one in the future, then write all this down and take it into your relationship. It'll help you be a lot more successful, a lot more fulfilled, and a lot more enjoyable throughout the entire process. Anyways, if you enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I post a couple videos every single week. Please drop a comment down below. And if you have any personal question that you want answered on this YouTube channel, in the description of this video, there's a little button or a little link that says request a video. Fill out that form and I will film a video that is personally answering your question. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Talk to you soon. Stay safe. Peace and love.